It's hard to imagine that something that we can't even see has the power to shape our future. My purpose today is to inform you about some of the arguments associated with making the COVID-19 vaccination mandatory nationwide. As a parent, I was given the option about whether or not to vaccinate my 3 children, and I have done research into the subject of vaccines. After today, you will have a little bit more information to help you decide whether or not you support a mandatory COVID-19 vaccination nationwide. I will begin with some reasons why people oppose the mandatory vaccine and then cover reasons why people support it. With our roadmap in place, let's begin with opposing reasons. There are 2 prominent reasons why people are unwilling to support mandatory vaccinations nationwide. The first reason comes from the idea and belief that they cannot trust the pharmaceutical companies behind the vaccine. According to Sharon Lafreniere, Katie Thomas, Noah Weiland, and Peter Baker in their New York Times article, there was concern about the accountability held by the completeness of the information in the rush to get the vaccine out during an election year. The article, originally published August 2nd, 2020, and updated December 7th, 2020, stated that there were concerns about the rush to provide a vaccine without fully knowing the long-term side effects and without vetting it. Those who disagree with a mandatory vaccine show concerns about the rapid development and whether enough was done in the rush to get the vaccine out during an election year. Fast-tracking the vaccine, which can usually take a year or more to develop, leads to the feeling that there is not enough information about the long-term side effects. The second reason that people don't agree with mandatory vaccines is that there is confusion and doubt about the information being given out by the coronavirus and ways that we will combat it. According to scientist and educator Zakiya Whatley in Scientific America's October 12, 2020 article, people are not sure what is the correct path to follow to keep them safe and to stop this pandemic. Since the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, science has gained a lot of new information about the virus. It is no longer new to us, but the conflicting information and ways to keep Americans safe and healthy has changed so much that there is a question about whether or not a COVID-19 vaccination would even work. In other words, Americans do not feel comfortable supporting what they feel is an underdeveloped vaccine. With a basic understanding of why there is opposition, let's move on to the reasons it is supported. There are at least 2 big reasons why Americans are supportive of a nationwide mandatory COVID-19 vaccine. The first comes from the belief that mandatory vaccinations protect everyone. According to the CDC's January 5th, 2021 article, The Benefits of Getting a COVID-19 Vaccine. One of the benefits of getting a COVID-19 vaccine is that it will protect you, but if you were to get ill, it will protect those around you. According to the research, those more susceptible to the disease are not able to get the vaccine and have a higher probability of getting ill than those around them. Being vaccinated means that you will no longer just be a carrier. Your body will fight off the disease instead of spreading it. In other words, keeping yourself protected has the ability to keep others protected as well. The second reason comes from the belief that mandatory vaccinations help overcome the shortcomings of the preventive measures that were put into place, like social distancing and masks. Although there is a benefit to wearing protective gear, the following recommendations provided by the CDC's National Center for Immunization and Respiratory Diseases Division of Vital Disease, there's only so far that preventive measures can go. There's still a possibility of contracting the disease even while following the protocols. The only real solution to stopping the spread of COVID-19 is to take a mandatory vaccine, and that is to keep people from getting sick. That is something that is prevented only by the vaccine. The debate over COVID-19 mandatory vaccinations is complicated. Let's review what we've learned today. First, we learned that there are 2 prominent reasons why people are unwilling to support mandatory vaccinations nationwide. Those include the belief that they cannot trust the research and the pharmaceutical companies behind the vaccine, and the confusion and doubt about the information being given about the coronavirus and the ways we will combat it. Second, we learned 2 reasons why some Americans are supportive of a nationwide mandatory COVID-19 vaccine that include the belief that mandatory vaccinations protect everyone and the belief that mandatory vaccinations help overcome the shortcomings of preventive measures. Now, after being acquainted with this information, you should feel better able to make the decision about whether or not you agree with a nationwide mandatory COVID-19 vaccination and understand the potential that something that we can't even see has a role in shaping our future.